Have you ever touched a girl too much or the wrong way, or you waited too long, or you didn't touch her at all and she lost interest in you? I get it, man. Society nowadays makes it seem like you'll go to jail if you touch a woman's shoulder. So how the heck do you touch a girl in a way that she'll enjoy without being rejected or being labeled creepy? I got you covered, man, because if you follow these 5 rules, she'll love your touch and likely want more. My name is Matt Artisan from The Attractive Man, and these are my 5 must-follow rules before touching a girl.
Many boot camps encourage men to be assertive.
A woman wants to be turned on. We've done all the testing, and we know what works. All right, we're gonna start with number 5 and work our way to the most important rule. Number 5 is make it natural. Don't overthink it, because guys that overthink it try to find every little excuse in the book to touch her. They end up touching her too much. And keep in mind that the more you put on the gas, the more she's likely to put on the brake. And if you're in a group situation and you're only focused on one girl and you're only touching this one girl, it can make her feel a little bit uncomfortable in front of her friends. Plus her friends notice and they might look at you as like, you know, the weird touchy guy. But if you were touching everybody from the beginning, and I mean casually in the conversation, you're talking with your hands and you touch people, you shake everybody's hands, you're high-fiving people, the guys included, then you just seem like a touchy guy. Like it's just who you are. It's just natural and no big deal. So when you start touching her, even if it's just a little bit more than the other people, nobody's gonna think it's weird. And one way you can practice making your touch a lot more natural, especially if it feels a little uncomfortable for you, is go to a bar or go to a club and just be the touchy guy that touches everybody, guys and girls. And notice how they react to you. Do they seem comfortable or not? By the way, make sure to subscribe to this channel and click that bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing, because I got a lot of awesome confidence and dating tips video coming your way. Number 4, don't wait too long to touch her. Make sure to break that touch barrier sooner rather than later, because if you wait too long, then that first touch, it just seems kind of weird and maybe even out of nowhere, and it just seems like a big deal. Plus, the interaction up until then might have felt really platonic. So make sure there's some form of touch when you first meet her. For example, if it's in the daytime, then a handshake is usually appropriate. At nighttime, a handshake might be appropriate too, or it could be a kiss on the cheek, or a high five, or even a hug. And on a date, when you first meet her, always give her a hug. Even if you met on the internet and it's your first time actually meeting in person, you don't want to start off the interaction as really formal. Break the touch barrier by giving her a hug. Even a side hug is fine if she feels like, a bear hug is maybe too much too soon. Number 3, don't let it linger. Early in the interaction, always make sure to take it away at first. Don't let your hand or any other body part like your arm around her linger for too long, because touching feels great. Almost all of us love to be touched because it releases the bonding hormone oxytocin. It feels good. But if you let it linger and it starts feeling like too much or feeling creepy for her, then it turns into a negative feeling and can even release the stress hormone cortisol. Back in the day, I always waited too long to make the move. In fact, I remember one time taking a girl out on a date. I took her to dinner. So of course it was I don't think there was any touching on the date. And then she actually agreed to go back to my parents' house. This was during college. I think I was on college break or something. And we go back to my parents' house and we go in the jacuzzi and we're in there for like 2 hours, because the entire time I'm trying to figure out, how am I gonna make my move? How am I gonna touch this girl? And I never did it. And finally she's just like, okay, I'm getting so hot. I could tell she felt really disappointed. And needless to say, I never heard from her again because I didn't make the move on her, and I'm sure she wanted me to. So learn from my mistakes. Number 2 is have a reason to touch her. It has to be in context to the situation, what you're talking about. If it's completely out of nowhere, it's gonna be weird and awkward. You can't just put your arm on her shoulder out of nowhere. Like, it has to make sense. You have to be like, hey, look at that thing over there. And by the way, dinner is usually a bad idea, especially if you're sitting across from each other, because how are you gonna touch her? What, are you gonna reach across the table and touch her shoulder? It's just weird. And you think dinner is romantic, but the fact that there's pretty much no touching can actually lead to a more platonic feeling instead of a romantic feeling. And if you want to ask me any questions about specific situations or how to touch or really anything at all that has to do with women dating confidence, then make sure to hit me up on Instagram, send me a DM. I'm always checking my messages. Let's chat. Number 1, always make sure she's comfortable. Never do anything that a girl isn't comfortable with. If you notice that she doesn't seem totally comfortable, then stop what you're doing. Take a step back, tone it down a little bit. This is where you need to become good at reading women, because women don't usually come out and say, look, you're touching me too much, or hey, I don't like how you grabbed my hand earlier. Because that's very direct communication, and women are typically, not all the time, but typically more indirect in their communication. They'll just slightly pull away or make a little weird gesture or something that they expect you to interpret as them feeling uncomfortable. If a woman outright directly tells you that you're touching too much, or she doesn't like your touch, or she doesn't feel comfortable, that usually means you really stepped over the line. You really crossed her boundary. And you need to really dial it back in order to save that interaction. And keep in mind that all women are different. I've been on dates with women that are touching me even more than I'm touching them. Usually it's in Latin America, by the way. And we end up kissing, usually at the first venue, very quickly. I've also had dates with women who didn't enjoy touch at all. I would say, hey, let's walk across the street, arm in arm. I wouldn't say that, but I put out my arm, and she would just kind of, not take my arm, not be into it. So just keep in mind that all women are different. You need to be able to read the situation and read the woman, whether she's enjoying it or not. Now, there's also time for gentle touch versus more stronger touch. Now, never be aggressive or too strong, nothing like that. But what I mean by stronger touch is like when you shake her hands. Don't think, oh, she's a delicate little flower and I should give her the limp fish handshake. That turns pretty much all women off. Shake her hand like a man. Don't crush her hand. This isn't like you trying to assert your dominance, because that will just hurt her, and then she'll associate you as a man who would hurt her. And that's definitely a red flag for her to get away from you. But I see so many guys shaking a woman's hand in a very weak manner, and that will kill the attraction every single time. And if you're ever not sure what to do, guys, then make sure to veer on the side of safety. It's not worth it to, move forward if you're not sure whether she's into you or not. If you can't read the situation, then play it a little safer. And remember to check out the 10 ways to touch a girl video that I created for you. I put a link down in the description because it'll show you how to touch in context in a way that starts off very, safe, platonic, and works your way up to more intimate touching in a way that feels comfortable for her. And while you're down there, make sure to check out our workshop schedule because we're all over the world. Chances are we're coming to a city near you, and I'd love to meet you. And apply for a free breakthrough session if you haven't done so yet, where we can hop on a call and figure out your situation and figure out how to get you the results that you want with women in your dating life. And if you're still having trouble escalating, whether it's physically or turning the interaction from a platonic vibe into a more romantic, sensual vibe, then make sure to download my free escalation cheat sheet that shows you exactly how to take things further and how to escalate the relationship to a more intimate level. And I put a link to that down in the description and to the right of this screen. So check it out, man, because it's absolutely free and it can really help you on your next date. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. Like this video, I really appreciate it. And make sure to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you liked about this video and what other videos you'd like to see on this channel. My name is Matt Artisan from The Attractive Man, and I'll see you in the next video.